evening stroll. Going for my daily stroll, my daily scroll. My favorite place. Yep. You hear the owls? Uh-huh. What else? I think. Anyways, I was just thinking about a few years ago, um, one of my teachers, he was talking to me about like the art of detachment. And he was talking about like detachment in the sense of just understanding that nothing truly belongs to you. And having just healthy attachments to stuff like, your relationships and certain situations you may be in, or, people, places, things, just having that attachment to things, how detrimental that could be, that could be to us, like in certain relationships, because we get attached to people. It could, essentially come to a place when we need to detach from that person, and become so hard for us, we just get so engulfed in people and things sometimes that, what happens if that thing is suddenly taken from us, and you see people who can't handle, loss, they never get over it. It's because they don't understand, you know, the danger in becoming too attached to things, you know? Nothing truly belongs to us. No one truly belongs to us, even though we, try to possess things, No one belongs to us. I don't care. Your children, your parents, nothing. Because in the blink of an eye, they can be gone, Then what? It becomes hard to detach because we possess people. They're us. It's the control of things sometimes. And that's just normal because, that's just what love does. We don't understand healthy love sometimes. Because there's beauty and love in detaching from things. The ultimate starts with yourself. It always boils down to your relationship with yourself. Sometimes just becoming attached to things makes it hard to let go. And that's the thing. That's a big thing. A lot of times we stay in situations where we overstay our welcome, because of attachment. You know, we possess things for the wrong reason, and it's always a deeper reason. Sometimes we get so attached to people because we have abandonment issues. Maybe we were left as a child. A lot of time these reasons why we become attached, is always a deeper reason. Maybe we dealt with abandonment as a child. Maybe, somewhere along the life we got our feelings hurt, and, you know, when we feel sometimes that a person come and fill that void, um, we attach ourselves to them because they fill that void for us, a void that we don't understand how to fill ourselves. So when this person leaves you, then comes all the thoughts of, the loneliness, the hurts. Then you start thinking back to all the times when you really were abandoned as a child. Maybe your parent left, maybe you had a death, anything can happen, a breakup. So many that sticks with us throughout our whole lives, and we don't understand it. And it starts to shape our relationship styles. you know? So all of these lessons that, on how to overcome things, it just ultimately leads to loving yourself more. It just means you need to love yourself more. And the difficult part in that is, that requires reliving situations that we tried to avoid, that's hurt us in the past, that's led to these, unhealthy attachment styles. That's why nobody want to do the work, You got to revisit certain things, certain areas of your life. The toughest time, those darkest times, the worst thing that ever happened to you. That's the hard part. That's why we become attached. That's why we avoid. That's why we don't know how to communicate. That's why we don't know how to sit with ourselves. Because we choose to constantly run from ourselves, from the trauma, from the hurt, from the pain. We stay stuck in our ways. We let the same old stay the same old. And the fish is jumping. And we just look for the answers, and we look for other people and things to fill these voids in life, And it's really unfair, It's unfair to the other person to put that responsibility on them. You jump from relationship, you get in relationships with people you don't even love. You have kids with people you don't even love. You stay in jobs you don't really love. You never actually try to change your situation, That's because we keep running. Keep running from our healing, Time to change, It's so hard to people to sit with themselves, Like sometimes it's just good to go and, it's so hard for some people to sit with themselves, It's so hard for people to sit with themselves because, some thoughts be flowing. But this is what you need to do. To really get honest with yourself. To really find a problem. Go sit in the dark room. No lights, no TV, no cell phone, no music, no distractions at all. Just sit in the dark room and just let your thoughts flow. Pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to your heart. Where does your heart go when your mind wanders, Sit with yourself. Don't run from the hurt, Sit with those thoughts. You can get angry, cry it out. Honor your emotions. Don't run from them. Honor them. Just allow yourself to feel, We constantly want to be numb. We gotta stop running from ourselves.